Let me ask you, how do you currently handle pricing your services in your business? Because one of the biggest mistakes business owners make is that they don't understand the correct way to price their services. I'm Jeffrey Shaw, business coach for self-employed business owners, author of The Self-Employed Life, and host of the Self-Employed Life podcast. You're going to want to watch this video all the way through because it will be a game changer for you and your business. So how do you price your services? Do you use some sort of a formula? Maybe, cost of goods, marked up, profit margin. Hey, that's all good. They're going to ask you that on Shark Tank. What's your cost of goods? What's it cost you to produce? And what's your profit? So, okay, that might be a way. Or do you price yourself based on, and I hear this way too often, do you price yourself based on your competition? Why? Is it because you want to win on price? Okay, if you want to win on price, maybe you need to know what your competition is charging. But my question is, are you really winning on price? Are you really winning? Because unless you know whether it's the right price for your business, you may not be winning at all. Or do you think that you should price according to what you think the market will bear? Well, I have to ask you, from what perspective? From what perspective do you think the market can bear? Is it from your perspective? What if your target audience is better off than you or not as well off as you? Here's the most logical way to price your services, which actually has nothing to do with logic at all, because it's based on really knowing your customers in a way that you probably never have before. Pricing is about how your customers see themselves in the world. Let me say that again, because everything you probably have ever understood about pricing has probably just been turned upside down and backwards. Pricing is about how your customers see themselves in the world. It's actually not about you or your business. What is your perception of a restaurant that doesn't have prices on the menu? Well, for most of us, as ordinary folks, your impression is that restaurant's really expensive. Have you ever chosen to not buy something because it was priced inexpensively and you therefore assumed it was cheap or of poor quality? Or are there stores that you don't go into or brands that you don't buy from because they look too expensive? Your perception in each of these scenarios is based on how you see yourself in the world, whether you can or can't afford that. It's based on your perception of whether it looks expensive or looks cheap. And that is exactly true of your customers. Whether they see a restaurant without prices on the menu as expensive, that's their perception of how they see themselves in the world. To someone else who doesn't need to care about money, they probably didn't even notice. One's perception of expensive or cheap is based entirely on what's expensive or cheap to them, based on how they see themselves in the world. If you see yourself as needing or wanting to be budget conscious, then you're going to feel aligned with a price conscious business. If you see yourself in the world as, only deserving the best, then you're more likely to feel aligned with businesses on the higher end, because we often assume that higher price means higher quality. May or may not be true, but that's the perception we have. So to accurately price your services, you need to understand how your customer sees themselves in the world, and then price your business, your services, aligned with that perception. How blown away are you right now? So how exactly do you do this? Well, first of all, you need to understand what lane the customers you want to reach are in, or the lane that you want to be in with those customers. Let's look at an example of 4 lanes. Imagine the 4 common types of grocery stores. Okay, you've got Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Publix, and Costco. You've got those 4 grocery store lanes. Which lane are your customers in? Because I think what we can all agree on is that the Whole Foods lane is very different than the Costco lane. All right, so then when you know that, you want to put yourself in that lane. You want to price your business so that you end up aligned with the psychology of people that choose Whole Foods or choose Trader Joe's or choose Publix or choose Costco. And this isn't just true on the higher end. Think about how many times you see an inexpensive, maybe a tech product. Think about how often you'll see it promoted as, equal to a cup of coffee a day. They know the lane and they're making an equal comparison to that lane for their ideal customers. The right way to price is to understand how your customers see themselves in the world and position yourself in the same lane, and it is a collision made in heaven. To avoid other common mistakes business owners make and to get all the information you need, be sure to check out some of the other videos here on my channel, and hey, subscribe, turn on notifications because you don't want to miss a thing.